Sandra.
Good morning and good evening.
Yes.
No topic, just experiencing this together. Thank you.
Hi, Isaac.
Hey, Martin.
I maybe have one topic. I'm very happy when I feel that I'm happiness, that I'm peace. Yes. Terrible, that was the phone and I'm running. It will come to an end. And maybe I use a picture that's often used. Still, I often have the feeling I feel the sun, but I can't see it. I feel my being as a little foggy. So I have the wish, oh, it had to clear up that I really fully feel this peace and this, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's so amazing, you know, like all we have are the sensations of this moment. And the sensations of this moment they're not, how can I say, they're right here. They're nowhere else. They're right here. But usually there's a way of interpreting the sensations that is in the direction of there's inside and outside. There's a me and there's an inside and an outside of me. And if we look a little deeper, all sensations, even the sense of me, is appearing in awareness. This whole movie, everything, the sense of me, the sense of cloudiness, the sense of fogginess, everything is appearing in me. And there's no distance. There's no me and it. It's just the habit of the movement of a me and an it. There's a me and fogginess, or there's a me and it's interesting because it's just here. And it happens through a habit of perception, not more, not less. Nobody does it. It's just a habit, you could say. It's like how we were conditioned. That there's a me and my experience. That somehow that's separate. And I'm curious if we can, is there any gap between who I am, awareness, and the experience of this moment? Doesn't seem to me like there is. And how often that habit creeps in, and it looks like, or feels like, that there's a me that's separate to experience, there's a me that's separate to totality. And there can't be. So Fata Morgana, yeah, it's a mirage.
I strongly believe that. And sometimes I experience it.
Yes.
But still there is an experience. Why don't you really see it clear? Or not I. Why is there not a clear seeing? This
Yeah. And
there's more knowing than this clear seeing.
Yeah. So all that can ever happen is that there can be a momentum of a habit with there's the interpretation, there's me, and what's happening, as if those are two separate things. And yet, if we're really honest, we can't say what's happening. And we can't find the me that's separate from what's happening. That's like a movement away, a thought, or some kind of movement that produces it. Very familiar.
So the only thing I see that can be done is to watch these habits, to contemplate about them.
Yeah, to rest, to really rest deeply and to see, okay, like thoughts come, a thought comes. Who knows what thought, it doesn't matter. It's just like in the deep resting of here, there's just this. And then some idea of how it could be or how it should be or something comes in. And then it seems like there's a me and some idea of how it could be or should be, and the play that happens within that. Other than that, it's just here, and there's, you can't say what it is. We don't know what's going on. That even the sense of me that rises is transitory, it comes and goes.
Probably the biggest problem is the thought. It should be clearer. It should be another way than it is.
Yeah. And we can see that's a thought. And in that thought, it seems like there's a me that's not who I am already, that has to get somewhere, that needs to do something, that it's like a
But I strongly believe, or there is a believing and knowing I am actually it already.
yes, exactly. Yeah. That's the paradox, eh? The movement between a resting, a deep resting, and this, and then some evaluation or some idea of how experience should be, or how I should be, or just some notion, some thought.
Well, there's a strong interest to uncover these layers, that hide this. And I still know I can't do anything. There's no possibility, but still I would like to uncover these layers that hide some of that. But I'm very thankful what I have right now. Thanks, Lasse.
Rhea.
Hey,
Hi.
I would like to speak a few words.
Go for it.
Yesterday, Yatran and myself, we entered new uncharted territory. And as you notice, the system is quite calm with it this time, or at least it feels like that for me, with a little and yeah, it feels super good to show up with it directly. And it is again, I mean, he's unfortunately not here yet. Yeah.
Does it feel okay to speak about what the new territory is?
Yes, it is again this, I mean, what's occurring again and again, that there is this strong need for merging for Yatran with another person. And he can merge energetically, like as it is short before dissolving. And yeah, now it turned out that there is one woman where on the dance floor where it's reoccurring, and somehow something new is touched for him. And I can see that it brings great softness for me.
Very sweet. Thank you for sharing that.
Before it often was that, oh, what's wrong with me? Or at least this automatism. And there was for quite a while, this, like his longing for this strong ascending movement. And my awareness of how much this one here needs to descend. And I mean, to do the whole thing. And
so let's leave ascending and descending out,
yes,
because we just have this moment here.
Yes.
So right now there's a resting.
Yeah, and even before you and I got in touch this morning, the essence of it was already there. That, yeah, that, I mean, do I even need to speak it? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But, you know, like,
Is it gone? Do you want it to say?
no, just it's gone beyond words. I would say like that. It's just like
Yeah. Yeah, but maybe just to, it feels like a movement of inclusion when I speak it, to include the whole Sangha in it.
Yeah.
It's really this thing that Yatran's movement is not even a millimeter away from me, because it's my longing is the same.
Exactly.
And I could, it was here, this sense of oneness. It is here. And I mean, it might be that it's occurring in a different way, and these two expressions of totality. Yeah, no right, no wrong.
Just
Say again, it was very.
we just never know. I mean, it's like we just don't know. It's like we're here enjoying meeting this moment as the beloved. That's about it. Future we don't know. Past is gone. This moment is as God as it gets. For a feminist, it would be this moment is as goddess as it gets.
It's with the maturation of the nervous system, or like what has already is fallen away. This in itself is, I notice it with awe. It's, wow. Yeah. I think this is good for now. And
Sweet spot.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you all.
Oh yeah.
Hello, Isaac.
Hi, Maria.
I feel so brave that Andrea is speaking about this topic, and it touches my heart. Also, Yatrin and Andrea spoke together about this. So thank you, Andrea. And I have a topic too, Isaac. Last time when we spoke together, it was at the end of our session. You told me about this parable of Papaji. It was about the shadow, and this triggered me a lot. So it's like the feeling when I don't release the shadow or work about the shadow, this sitting quiet and enjoy what is now is between that, or it's worthless as long as I haven't seen my shadows. So I feel helpless about this and want to ask you to help me to understand what you mean.
Okay. So first question, to whom does the shadow belong?
When I go in that, then there is no shadow. Then
Yes,
there is no
yes.
I or no
Yes.
who.
Yes. So
When I
that-
stay present in
yeah.
the moment, there is
Yes.
no shadow.
Yes.
And
So then this idea of getting rid of the shadow is a thought, yeah?
yeah, and also this thought was triggered at the parable you told me from Papaji.
That parable, I mean, in my view, it's just what you just spoke. It's like the moment you've turned your face to here, there is no shadow. There is no problem. When we focused on the shadow and we're trying to get rid of it, then there's shadow. And wherever we go, if we look behind, there's a shadow. We look at the sun, there is no shadow. So
yeah.
I see many, somehow there's this idea of looking at the shadow continuously and wanting to fix it and change it. And to me, it just seems like when our attention shifts just to presence, there is no shadow. There's nothing to do. There's no one to do it.
Yeah.
And that's just a little shift of attention. It's no getting anywhere. It's just really just a shift of attention. It's not about the doing at all. So we were
It's a little
talking,
bit like this what Martin spoke. Huh?
yeah, same thing.
Yeah. I understand
Yeah.
you now. I
Yeah.
misunderstood you last time. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, well, thanks for making it clear.
I feel there is still so much confusion, or I can't calm down really. Now I want to calm again. Oh.
So what is confusion? Is it possible to be confused if there's no thought?
Not really.
No, exactly. So confusion is thinking. Just to recognize it, not to change it or fix it, just to recognize confusion. If confusion shows up, it's just thoughts. And with the thoughts, the sense of pressure that something's not quite okay and I need to understand in order to be at peace again. But all happening in peace itself. It's not separate from peace. Yeah.
Yeah, when you say it's all in peace itself, then it opens again. Yeah.
Just a little shift of attention.
Yeah, very little.
Doesn't take much. Any confusion now? Or clear?
No, it's wonderful how it can change this little movements.
Just like that.
Yeah.
When nothing changes outside, just that little shift of attention. That's it.
A very little one. It's so soft.
Mm.
Mm. Mm. Thank you, Isaac.
Thanks, William.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Hey, hello, Aisha.
Hey, hi.
Hello. So there's a lot of movement inside. Wow. Because I see, I want to say something about sexuality,
Oh,
and
nice.
it's I see like, wow, how much then, you know, how much movement is beginning to start inside
Hmm.
to speak about this topic.
Hmm.
Uh, just calm down a little bit. Mm.
But just check what's, so there's some movement coming. And
Mhm.
if you track the movement, what's it related to? I mean, if you were going to speak about the sexuality of an ant, it wouldn't probably, there wouldn't be much movement.
Yeah,
When you start to talk about the sexuality of humans,
yeah. Mhm.
then somehow um, it's more vulnerable. It's like more open to people having different ideas or different beliefs or different things, and so
Yeah,
it's like there's no knowing. Uh, it feels vulnerable to speak because people might think badly
Mhm.
or so then that gets charged, yes, because that's all. I mean, it's like we talk about the sex lives of elephants,
Yeah,
something we saw in David Attenborough or something. There's no problem. Can just speak about those.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that, especially,
Yeah.
you know, like to talk about it in the Sangha, you know, it feels very vulnerable in a way, like, and of course it has to do with, yeah, the whole, just what you say, you know, like judgments or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, I want to say something about it. You know, let's see, what comes. Now, last weekend, I went to a kinky party. I did this a lot like, let's say, Martijn and me, we always went together. It's now a long time ago because of everything what happened. So it was something we always did together, just to feel how that was and how it feels. And so last weekend, I went for the first time on my own together with friends without him because he is in a totally other space, of course.
Yeah, he doesn't have the interest right now.
No, and I can see that I just wanted to go there just to feel like how it is to go there on my own. And I know it brings a lot of things up in him, in me, you know, because it is something from us together. So, but now we are in this state of not knowing how the relating is between us. You know, I told you about it.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't know what I want to say. You know, I just see I want to bring it also in this space, you can say. But of course, it brought up a lot of things and sensations, and but it was so clear for me just by going there on my own and just feeling what was happening inside of my body. Like, wow, this sexuality and sensuality is who it's, in a way, it really has nothing to do with him. It's so clear, you know, it's so,
Mhm.
you know, so there was so much energy in my belly, just and the days after also, you know, I was not interacting or whatever, but I was just, the energy was hanging there in the air, was such a powerful energy, so very sexual, very sensual, and it was so amazing strong.
Hmm.
I don't know what I want to say. Yeah, I just speaking
No, I
now.
understand. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like life doing its dance. We, you know, like,
Yeah,
yeah, you know, it's just like
uh,
attractions come and go.
yeah,
It's, you know, moments of feeling really interested in it, and moments of not not having that much interest, and just it seems to ebb and flow and do its thing. I mean,
yeah,
and it seems like there's a lot of beliefs and constructs around it, and
yeah,
right and wrong, and good and bad, and what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, but should.
yeah.
And seems like a lot of charge around the ideas too, but it's just, you know, it's like,
Yeah, and also to see what it then does, of course, now in the relating, you know, because of
yeah,
course
yeah.
it triggered
I
a lot
mean,
by him,
yeah,
or like that I go there on my own, you know,
yeah, yeah.
after 10 years, and I was just feeling, yeah, but I I I need to go there. I need to feel it, to experience, and even if he is in a very shaky time, you know, and then of course guilt comes in and all this, yeah. Um, mm, mm, you know, and it's the same that this owning, you know, this owning each other. This is, yeah,
And yet we don't own each other. I
yeah,
mean, you know,
sure.
it's and we can say like,
Uh,
there's this movement to try and avoid getting hurt, or
mhm,
try to get, you know, some kind of security somewhere,
mhm, mhm,
and nothing right about it, nothing wrong about it with that. It's
mm,
just like, you know, and yet at the same time, I don't know if there is ever any security, you know, it's just like, it's, and
mm,
so, you know, we try to,
mm.
seems, yeah, and yet, you know, we hear and we just don't know, and so life does its dance.
Mhm. Yeah, and I can, life does its dance, and I can see like that this, you can say, like, wants to do her dance,
Yeah, yeah, I understand.
however it wants to move, and
Yeah,
then yeah. um,
yeah.
It's very simple.
It is simple. It is,
Yeah.
and it's how beautiful that it,
Yeah.
you know, it's like at some point it feels like it's sovereign enough, it's standing on its own feet that it can live like that.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it doesn't mean it doesn't, you're aware of Martijn and you're aware of what patterns are playing in him. And at the same time, there's this, you could say, authentic movement that's happening and that wants to just move. And so it's doing it. And but it does touch where, you know, you could say unspoken agreements or maybe even spoken agreements. Or,
Mhm. Mhm.
okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know, for me, I've asked this question in these meetings many times.
Mm.
And just what can we truly promise each other? Or what can we even promise ourselves?
Mm. It's- For me, yeah, I can see like to be honest, wow, oh, wow, it's a question.
Can we even promise that?
No,
Because we, yeah, you know,
yeah.
maybe at some point we're not, and then afterwards, oh, you weren't honest with me. Yes, sorry, you know, I'm not honest with myself also all the time.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, it's
yeah.
like I don't know what promise I can make, really. I mean, it's not a license to be, how could I say, flippant. But when I just look, go deep at that question, what can I promise myself? Or what can I promise?
Mm.
First, what can I promise myself? I'll always be true to myself. I don't even know what that means.
Mm. Mm.
You know, it's like just ideas,
Yeah.
seems to me. So, and then what can I promise what looks like someone else?
Yeah, wow. I just see that there is not really coming an answer in this question.
Yeah.
This is
So,
really.
so maybe let's just for fun,
Uh,
let's bring this to the Sangha for a moment. Go to gallery view and let's just
Okay.
ask that question.
uh,
What can we promise ourselves? Is there an answer to that question? Is there anything that we can promise ourselves? And I'm not asking you to agree with me or disagree with me. I'm really, this is an inquiry. Yeah?
mm.
Does anyone find anything that you can absolutely promise to yourself?
Isaac?
Yeah.
It's a bit like when making vows with the new year. How long can we stand with them?
Yeah. But it's interesting, if we really go deep with that question, we see, look,
Yeah.
somehow that habit is still there to make these promises and to and think that they mean something or think that it gives us something. But then if you really look deeply, you see, wow, actually, I can promise nothing. I just know.
Yeah. And the
I'm
strange
interested.
thing is,
Yeah.
we somehow want the other. From the other, we want something like this.
Yeah.
That they are honest or that they. And yet we can't hold on to it ourselves.
Exactly.
You
And
know?
so what can and so what can we promise someone else if we just keep going in that same track? It's like, what I see, how it seems to me is that, you know, as life matures or we start standing on our own feet, we start to have a sense of our own sovereignty.
Yes, I see that it is related to that sovereignty.
Yeah.
If that
Yeah.
comes more and more in place, then you can only
then
be
we don't
truthful.
know. We
You
really
don't
know how. Yeah.
But also,
And
you just listen to the truth in you somehow,
yeah.
and that can change moment by moment.
I mean, you know, in the when people talk about a yani, that's someone that's deeply abiding as presence, as a deep recognition. There's no morality for a yani. They're just relating to the moment. That's it. And it doesn't have to be consistent. It just is in that moment. How life responds, you could say. But in fact, I think in all of us, it's the same way. Except that a lot of times it goes through all these different ideas and thoughts. And
I would also like to add something, Isaac.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, what I noticed when Yatrin brought it up yesterday was like an immediate underlying sense of freedom. It felt like such an actualization to the moment, in a way, like and another seeing that something the living part is a bit behind, you know. Yeah. And Ellen, it really touched me that it's 10 years ago that you went for dancing.
No, I mean, I went dancing, but I, how to say, no, of course, I go dancing, for sure. But I mean to to this kind of parties, it's a kind of kinky party. So this, we always did together, you know, because it's a lot of sensuality and sexuality is there. And this is what we always did together. I never went on my own, you know, so this is because it has to do with sexuality. You understand? Yeah.
So, you know, you can see that people try to navigate this in different
Yeah.
ways. You can see if you're within, with, you know, whatever their understanding of what relating is. And so, yes, we're free to do this, but as long as we do it together, but you can't do it by yourself. I mean, it's interesting. It's just these different ideas that we come up. And for some people, this whole conversation is like, wow, we're going to a kinky party. Wow, I don't know.
But you know, I also can see, like, when you, because there are so, when we had a kind of agreement that we do this together because it's very vulnerable, and of course things can get touched, and just to share this, to be, you know, to have a kind of eye for each other, and to be kind in it, in a way, you can say. I don't know, I'm just speaking now, looking for me at the same time if this is really true, but it also had to do with to explore in sexuality in a safe way. And then I could see that sometimes it brought up really things and the relating with Martijn, and it was very beautiful because we could speak about it and talk about it and look together. Yeah, to not overstep it, you can say, because then in relating, if you have sex with somebody else, a lot of things got touched, and not to overstep it, but really to look what is happening inside and what is going on, and to give space to each other, to that everything can come up, and that is also very beautiful. For I experienced it as very beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, in this area, they don't call them kinky parties, they call them temple parties. Temple.
Yeah, temple parties. Yeah, in a way, it's a temple party. Really, it's amazing because also we went sometimes to a party club, you know, and just to explore how this is, to feel what is happening inside, because jealousy and all these things, all the taboos about sexuality, they all come up, you know. And in a way, it also felt like a kind of, how to say this, making a part of sexuality free, even for my mother, and for yeah, I don't know how to, because there's so much, in a way, there was so much cramp in my system around this subject, you can say.
Yeah, I think for
Sex.
most people,
I know.
for most people, it is like that, and for most people, even thinking about going to a party like that would freak them out. It's
Yes.
out of their experience range, and it's just like, okay, so
Yeah.
everybody's got a different, you know,
Yeah.
like different interests and different emotional maturity to explore, and
Yeah.
whether there's an interest to explore or not. I mean, there's a wide range around it.
Yeah. Oh, but it's very beautiful to speak about it here in the Sangha. Yeah.
And we can just check, is there anybody that's triggered by this conversation or feels that it shouldn't take place in this arena? I mean, people have all kinds of ideas. So feel free. So thanks for bringing this topic, Ellen. And, yeah, reflect. Some value happened out of it, whoever that happened for. Bettina. Hi.
Hi. Here it gets a lot of trigger because of the topic
Oh, okay.
in the system, and a lot of curiousness. Is it right?
Hmm.
And excitement
Curiosity, yeah.
somehow. Yes.
Yeah.
Big ears.
Yeah.
A lot of thoughts.
Yeah. Thank you for that vulnerability. It's beautiful.
That's happening in the nervous system. I can't really get it with my mind. But
Yeah. You know, for many people, to even have a conversation with another human being is tricky, let alone having sexuality. So it's like
yeah.
yeah, find space to, yeah.
And then I noticed the movement. Okay, yes, there's a topic. Yes, but not in this life. I try it in the next life. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else come up? All
Yes.
good?
Is there still a place for me in the celebration?
Yes, of course. No, there's still room.
Then I would be with you.
Just, yeah, just send an email. And I can
Okay.
send you the link.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Judith.
Hey, Isaac.
Hi. Anything come to speak, Judith?
No, not at the moment.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
The mind plays with this sexuality theme. And So it's coming up to experience sexuality, how or with whom or whatsoever, how deep, Is it necessary to come to this unconditional love? Yesterday I read something from Osho about, he said, don't waste your time with looking for things outside. So just came up.
Yeah, you know, we can have a statement like that. Don't waste your time.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
And yet, if there's, you know, like, how could I say, if there's something suppressed or something not allowed, what does that do?
Mm. Yeah.
So I don't think there's any special way we have to be. I don't
Mm.
think you have to run after anything or not run after anything, or any certain diet that you have to do, or any certain, you know, like substances you have to avoid, or I mean, I don't
Any
think there's
certain party, yeah. Any certain
anything, you know, it's just like that. So if you feel to explore with a certain diet, you're welcome to. If you feel to explore with different qualities of meeting,
Mm. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like whatever the interest is, it's like it's going to play in some way, it seems to me. Either it'll play just in the mind, and or it'll be played in a way where it's not even allowed to show up in the mind. There's so many different ways it can
Yeah.
play. So,
Yeah. I see. Mm.
and to me, I don't know if there's any, and I think it might be different for. I know some people have a lot of drive, some people have very little drive. It's just,
So this is personal again. Or
I don't know if even if it's personal, you know, like, can you say it's personal that your hair is red or your eyes are blue? I mean,
yeah.
How is it different? You know, it's just like you know, however the system is wired, I don't think any of us asked for it. That's at least my sense of it. Some people think you know, you choose the life, you choose your parents and all that stuff. To me, I've never found any of that to be
Yeah.
true.
Mm. Mm.
So it is an interest, and it either gets, you could say, it gets explored, and it gets explored in a way that is conscious and respectful of your own boundaries, or where you are in it, or you know, or you learn pretty quickly if you jump over that, for sure. So. You know, it seems to me that, again, it's just the way it seems. Yeah, that it seems like many people have an interest, but recognize that they don't have the capacity to explore, that it would be too much for them. So then they just deny that there's even any interest. And some people see it through the eyes of, you know, religious beliefs, and there's one way that it should happen. But then how often do you find, you know, within these religious systems, all kinds of other stuff going on?
Perversity.
So it's a big subject. It's a big subject for humans, it seems. At least with luck, the way I'm bringing it, this is without a bias, without a prejudice, with just everyone
Yeah,
can look for
yeah,
themselves and
yeah.
see what's true. I mean, right.
It's good that I brought this up. It's good to speak about, and it's
Yeah.
oh, mm,
And Papa, when people would ask Papaji about sexuality, he would send them to this temple in India called Khajuraho, where they have all these statues of people making love in every conceivable position with twos and threes and animals and everything. He said, if you want to know about it, go there. These,
he did this. Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
you know, this has
Mm.
been explored for thousands of years, for sure. We're not the first.
So just go with the flow.
And you know, you could say it like that, and it sounds like that's a. I think, to me, it seems like, you know, there's different levels of interest in all of us for different things. For some people, it's playing an instrument. For some people, it's art. For some people, it's wanting to explore tantra or lovemaking, and for some, it's exploring relating within, you know, like you could say, fear-based systems, and with others, like let's explore relating on the edge, so to speak. There's just such a wide variety, you know. It's just so.
Mm.
I think everyone will find what suits them. You know, some people it's too big a thing. It's just next lifetime.
You never know, Bettina. Mm.
I found it beautifully vulnerable the way Bettina spoke about it.
Mm.
That's touching, you know, beautiful. So we're all in this journey in whatever way we find ourselves in. What I do know is that it seems as if we all love to be touched, and we love, there's a certain quality of sensuality that is extremely pleasurable. And then there's a kind of quality of sexuality that's just, I would say, dopamine driven, that's not very in tune. And then again, there's nothing right or wrong with that. It's just depends how fine our systems are and how we want to, how, you know, how we look to explore. And it's just,
And it's changing, huh?
it's changing all the time.
Mm.
Who knows what's true with Osho? You know, he said a lot of things, and you hear stories afterwards.
No.
Yeah. So I had no idea. Just see. Here
And
am.
I don't care what he
Yeah. I love that. I love that we can talk about anything without it becoming a position, or that it can just be an exploration, a really deep, vulnerable, real exploration. That's kind of what interests me.
Me too.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you.
And please feel free to feedback to me if in any way you feel like I'm not being clear or promoting anything particular other than just inquiry. Bedankt.
A very beautiful subject today, or it's quite a lot what is touched from here and there. And it's what I love to share maybe, or to say, you know, when I spent time in Pune, and there it felt like a very protective space where a lot of could be experienced, and in a way I never experienced outside this protected space. So when Ellen was speaking, it was touching me very much. And also when people who are in relation, you know, or relating, I learn a lot. Even so in my life, I had a very little relating outside this protected space, actually. So I can see there are so many patterns we're playing not to be able to relate.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
this I can see. And I'm very, very grateful for the experience in the protective space. So I, how to say, I feel what is spoken when Ellen speaks, or when others are speaking. And I also would love to say this, not to promise anybody something, or not to, it is such a, how to say, a positive bomb for freedom. You know, this is so beautiful, but really to live it, it touches almost the same what Martin was saying today. You know, there are so many layers. There is such a longing to live it, but how to live it, how, and not to fix or work on oneself, but wanting to open up to this, actually, you know. Yeah. And also in my case, it doesn't mean that now I have to relate a lot, or you know,
it doesn't
nothing,
mean anything.
but this, it feels like softly something can open up, something like
beautiful.
this. Yes, this, I just wanted to
Thank you.
say, yeah, it was very, very beautiful today. Yes. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Thanks for that. Yeah. Wow. Sweet.
Hi. Sitting in this meeting, finding it amazing to be reminded, and beautiful to be reminded that everything is just passing through and passing through and passing through, and it's passing through nothing, and it consists of nothing. It is nothing. It is not. It is also not nothing. Even you can't say and know anything about anything. It's all, any phenomenon is passing through, passing through. You know it. To be reminded, I love it so much, I think.
Yeah, I see.
So beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. It's a miracle and much more or much less. Anyways. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. So, hi.
Yeah, I feel reminded on younger years where I attended quite a lot of time in Tantra groups. And I can see this, just this name, kinky party, makes me like, oh God, it's like how much awareness is there, how much is, how big is maybe, I don't know what's going on there. I know a little bit what's happening in Berlin because I'm coming from, and I find it, for me, with my history, kind of no-go. But these Tantra groups, I want just add, I have very nice rememberings, and even, always with trousers on, so to speak. And the most time was like honoring, and going through processes just by touching that issue of including sexuality. And then at night there was no guidance and people could in the room sleeping, and it was even nice to see maybe people having beautiful, aware contact and even sex, for the first time I saw, and I was like, wow, it's beautiful actually. But yeah, when I hear that it's a kind of party style, I get really like, I don't know, it's like making me think there might, if it's just a party, you go there, I don't know, it's like, I don't know if this is a good thing, if someone is vulnerable and trying to become aware.
As far as I know, people that like to explore like that, and I don't know if there's a general thing, they're very clear on respecting boundaries and really listening. I guess there's everything that you can imagine under the sun. But
Yes.
people that are, I would say, mature in their exploration tend to really want to honor people's signals and boundaries and like that. There's nothing that you have to do. There's nothing that you don't have to do. So there's room for exploration. So yeah, I have no idea. I mean, it's like, I've been around people that explore like that. It's never been so much. A little while ago, I was invited to try and bring satsang into a group of people that were exploring these temple nights and sexuality and sensuality. And so I went, and there was a couple of nights where I missed meetings because I was doing that event. And it was interesting for me to be there and just to, people were making love in the room and doing whatever they were doing. And for me, I felt pretty relaxed. It was like And nobody seemed to be interested in me, so I didn't. And I have no idea how I would have responded if somebody was, but I was just there, and just when people wanted to explore, I was available to explore truth, you could say, like that. And I felt at ease with whatever was happening. It wasn't, which is nice to see. I had no idea how it would be for me. Whether, you know, if nobody approached me, I'd feel left out. But it was cool. I mean, this was.
Yeah, also in my profession with the body works, was sometimes that men ask me, or somehow, you know, wanting to have whatever, you know,
Yeah, a
happy
release, a
hand
happy
job or
ending.
something.
Yeah.
But I personally, I always said that's my private thing. It doesn't have to do anything with me, you know. It's like I'm sensual, I'm everything, but don't ask me this. It's for me absolutely no go.
Yeah.
And even, you know, with people being kind of aware, you know, they're like, why not and stuff, you know, why you excluded, and I like, no way. It's nothing I would sell in any way, you know. Yeah.
Again, you know, there's just such a wide range of ideas around it. It's just, and all you can do is speak with what's true for you in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And for sure, what's the history of this condition and traumata and everything. But what I could see in the Tantra thing, that there was so much trauma and so much things coming up that I would think the party thing, maybe there's a lot of overstepping, but I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't know. Yeah, you can imagine. It's imagination.
Yeah,
we don't know.
As long that thing they're wishing everybody well, then I think everything is good. But I also heard people like laughing about this.
In terms of overstepping, how much overstepping is there on a day-to-day basis with almost everybody? So, you know, it's just like, I don't know how to, it seems like, why to make it that special around sexuality. So I think, you know, it's, I think it's like anything. If we come to it with an interest and with inquiry and honoring of boundaries or systems, who knows? It could be valuable or not.
Thank you.
Anyway, fun evening. Thank you all. Did anyone give me value out this evening? Yes, some people did. Good. Anyone triggered or never going to talk to me again? Okay. All right. Thanks, beloveds, for showing up spaciously. Yeah. Thank you, Bas, for hosting. Love, peace, beauty.